Hey everybody, welcome to the podcast. I'm your host, Taylor Hughes, and this week I sat down with Adam Wilber, magician, creator, author, keynote speaker, all-around brilliant individual, and man, this one's going to be good. I didn't realize until I started talking, I've got a little raspiness going on. I'm recording this on Monday morning, and last night I did two shows, both hour-long sets at two different venues, and my voice is kind of shot, but I kind of like it. I've always wanted to have like a deeper radio voice. So anyway, today you get it. So many things going on. For those of you who have been following the program, you may have noticed this week I did not do a 5-Minute Monday. I've been doing these little videos where I post a 5-Minute Monday video and also the audio from that. Just an encouraging challenge, something that I'm dealing with and learning from the program and the great guests that we've had on. This week I didn't post one of those because I'm working on a new project. I am writing a book. It's been a long time coming, and I'm going pretty aggressive to try to get these thoughts on paper and get them out of my head. So for the next little bit, I will not be posting those 5-Minute Monday videos because I just want to make sure I get this project done. And sometimes you just gotta shift and change. So that's what's happening right now. Those 5-Minute Mondays, we're gonna take a little pause on those, but I'm really excited in the next little bit to share with you about this book that is gonna be coming out. Really excited about that. Also excited because, guys, I ordered a shed on Costco.com. That's right, I said a shed, like a tough shed, like a wooden outdoor. It's got a roof and a door, and it's a shed. And that's going to be coming next week, and I'll try to post some videos on the About to Break podcast YouTube channel. We're going to be changing that shed into, wait for it, the World Shed Quarters. I know, it's a terrible joke. I shouldn't say it, but for some reason it makes me so happy. I'm going to be finishing the inside. We're going to insulate it, soundproof it, drywall it, and we're going to set it up to do video and audio in there. And it's going to be the new studio. So stay tuned for pics and vids of that. I'm super excited about it. Also excited because November 12th, we have our next Jokers and Aces show happening here in Los Angeles, California. What do you do on Sunday night? You're sitting there and you're going, man, I really wish I had something exciting to do. And by that time, the World Series will be over. And, your favorite shows will be reruns that week. And you'll just be like, what am I going to do? Thanksgiving isn't here quite yet. Well, have no fear, guys. We've planned this strategically. November 12th, Sunday night, 7 p.m., we're going to have a comedy and magic show. It's in the back of everyone's favorite comic book store, Meltdown Comics. We'll be in the Nerdist Showroom, November 12th, 7 p.m. Eddie Frith and myself will be co-hosting that show, along with incredible comedians and magicians. I'm talking about comedy from Emily Heller, magic from Derek Hughes and Blake Voigt, and my buddy Jimmy H. What a show. Tickets are $10 at the door, or you can buy pre-sale tickets online for only $8 by going to the link right here in the show notes. Just click on there and go to get your tickets to Jokers and Aces. I hope you can be there. It's going to be a fun night. We have so much fun. This is my favorite show that I do all month, and I really hope to see as many of you there as possible. It's going to be a really fun show. So come check that out, November 12th at the Nerdist Showroom at Meltdown Comics. But enough about that. Let's get into the podcast. The gentleman that you are about to be introduced to is incredibly creative. If you watch his Instagram magic videos, your mind will be blown because he does things that are just absolutely impossible. And what I loved about our conversation when I sat down with Adam Wilber is not only us geeking out about magic and performing at the Magic Castle, it was his first week performing there, but also, I've said it over and over on this podcast, this is not a how-to guide. It's not meant to be tips and tricks to succeed in the business. It's really more solidarity for the journey, the ups and downs, the tough stuff, the real life issues that you deal with when you're trying to be an artist for a living. However, there are some episodes like this one that transcend that and also provide you with some helpful information and things that you can apply to your life and your career, and whether you're a magician or a musician or an actor or an entertainer of any kind, The information that comes across in this episode is huge. I'm super excited about it. So you're also going to hear some helpful tips and tricks on the business side of show business. But more than anything, I just walked away with the fact that Adam is such a warm, kind, generous, creative individual, and I could not be happier that he's on the program this week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy episode 47 of the About to Break podcast, my conversation with Adam Wilber.
No, I'm not a writer.
Okay.
Something is about to break.
Hey everybody, welcome to About to Break. I'm your host, Taylor Hughes, and this week I am joined by the incredibly creative Adam Wilber. How are you, man?
I'm great, man. I really appreciate you having me on this. I like listening, so to be on the other side is an honor.
Oh man, it's so I thank you because you sent me a little note the other day and just said how you were enjoying the program, and I have a notepad of people that I would want to have a conversation with these folks, and your name's been on there for a while, and cool, I was like, dude, if he's ever in LA or if I'm ever out that way, I'm going to hit him up.
Awesome.
And you're here. This is your first week at the Magic Castle.
It is, yeah. I've been a spectator many times, but I get to do the close-up room for this week, so.
It's incredible, man. I couldn't believe that this is the first time that you've been out to do it.
Yep.
And yep. I'm excited. I'm looking forward. I'll be seeing your show in a little bit and can't stinking wait to catch it.
Awesome.
We are at the world famous Nirvana apartment building. It's okay to say where you're at because you won't be here when this comes out, right?
And I don't think I have so many fans that will track me down anyway, so I think we'll be okay.
This is the castle has a few different apartments that they host performers at, and this was the J. Marshall Suite.
Yep, the man himself.
The man himself, man. You think about that, like with the castle. Like, do you ever geek out about?
Big time. I mean, even in here, I'm like, I wonder how many just of my idols have slept in this bed or have walked through this building. It's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, it's insane. The castle. If you've listened to the podcast, people that are listening to this will know I talk about my ups and downs of my love and hate for magic sometimes. Mm-hmm. Every time I walk in the castle, I go back to being like a 12-year-old kid and getting to go to brunch with my family and just losing my mind that this place exists.
And showing people that aren't in magic. Like, I have some friends that are around and they come in and it's like, especially if you're performing there. Yeah. I've grown up with some of these kids and they see this mysterious castle with all this magic, and then you get to be on the stage and show your friends. It's just it's cool. It's a bucket list item that just feels good, And totally. I literally remember 15 years ago, I talked to my best friend before I came out here and he said, dude, I remember high school, you were like, oh, it'd be so cool to just go to this castle, just show up. And I was like, oh, but you have to be a member. And he's like, man, take a second and take this in because you're about to go perform there.
We've got to have those moments. I mean, because we, as artists, we tend to focus on the things that we're not doing or that we'd like to do. But I think it's so healthy to have those moments where you have a conversation with your 15-year-old self and go, good job, buddy. Like, absolutely. We're here. Like, we're doing the thing.
Yep. I think a lot of people do that, and it's always what's next, and then you see people on social media or the news or wherever, and you go, man, well, he's doing good. Yeah. But taking that minute to be like, what have I done that's good, and even addressing it at the start of every month, just in a prayer of gratitude or something, to say, you know what, I am grateful for this, because you have your success, but then it's over and done. Yeah. Your 2 seconds of fame is gone. Yeah. But you gotta revisit those and remember about them and take pride in them, Yeah. And especially in the moment, being there. Every time I sit out and go into that close-up room, I take a big breath and go, all right, this is cool, man.
It is like the Carnegie Hall of Magic or the Grand Ole Opry of Magic. Yeah. It is the place where you can't help but think everybody that as kids we read about, they were here. Like, they were doing this same thing in this spot. It's just something that there's a thing, the law of diminishing returns. Mm-hmm. Like, the first time you went on Star Tours at Disneyland, it was amazing. And then you go on it now and you're like, they're just, moving the room while we watch TV.
Exactly, yeah.
But there's certain places and moments, like the castle, that I feel like they're untouched by the law of diminishing returns. And I don't know if it's just an attitude or a mindset.
No, I think so too, because I was telling you just a minute ago, yesterday I was ill. I didn't feel good. I ate some funky food. And the second I walked out, before I'm like, I just got to get through today, man.
Yeah.
Like, I just got to make it, because you can't cancel it. You can't call out, you know.
No.
So, but as soon as I was in there, it was that the energy of the audience, the atmosphere, the magical feel of that room just takes over.
Yeah.
You know, and it doesn't get tiring. It doesn't get boring. And I've talked to guys that have done the castle 30 times.
Yeah.
Nathan Kranz was a great friend of mine. And he's
Yeah.
like, dude, every chance I get, I go there. And
Yeah.
you don't get it until you go. And then it's like, I see what you're saying. This
Yeah.
is just, it's a different thing. You know, once you walk through that door and open sesame and walk in, it's like, it's a different world. So,
You know, when you're a kid and you're the guy that's into magic, I don't know, how old were you when you got into
6.
magic? 6 years old. So
Yeah.
I was 7 when I got into it. When you're the kid that's into magic, there's, you know, people find out that you like magic and they're excited about it for a minute and then they move on to other things. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like, so it's cool to go to a place where for that night everybody's about the
Absolutely.
thing you're about.
Yep.
Like, it would almost be like if you had a sports team that you just loved, which I'm not a sports guy, but like if you just love sports and you love this one team and everyone you met that night was all about your team.
yep. When you do a show, people come to your show and it's you performing in some venue. So they're going,
Right.
is this guy going to be any good or girl going to be any good?
Right.
At the castle, they're walking in there going, these are the best magicians in the world. This
Right.
is all about magic. So there's no winning anyone over.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They've
You're
already.
one,
If
know?
they didn't want to see magic, they would not be there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, and we were talking
I
before.
don't think there's another environment in the world like that.
No.
Even events that are a ticketed event for your magic show, there are going to be people in that audience that were drugged there by their kids.
Exactly.
That were, you know, whatever. They're there for someone else. Whereas the castle, there's some magicians that frequent and they're there to sort of do their rounds. And,
Yeah.
you know, they might be a little stiff. But
Yeah.
the real people there are all there to be in love with magic, even if it's for that day.
Yeah.
And you get them for 15, 20 minutes. It's amazing. It really is.
I love it. I love it. This, you know, this podcast, I sometimes feel like it's just an advertisement for the castle. Like the castle doesn't even know I'm doing this, but every time I
Sure.
have a magician, I'm just like, isn't the castle great?"
Yeah, sure. And I mean, we're in the area as well.
Right.
You know, so.
Oh man, it's amazing. You started when you were 6, or you were introduced to it. Was this like you got a magic kit for Christmas or a book?
Silk Vanish. A buddy did it,
Yeah.
and I went, you roll your sleeves up. It went up your sleeves, and he did it again, killed me with it.
Yeah.
And he wouldn't give the secret. You know, he read the Klutz Book of Magic, and the first
Yeah.
sentences that you don't tell.
Right, and he actually did it.
He
like
did.
how good
Straight
that
up,
he
he
did.
was proud to do it too. And then I went and stole the book from the bookstore. Actually, I stole the gimmick out of the book. I read the book there, and saw they had a little,
Right,
the
a little
thumb was in
gimmick,
the
yep.
spine of the book.
Yep.
So I popped it out, and you know, I didn't know what I was doing was wrong at the
Right.
time.
Oh yeah.
And then I learned it, and I fooled my dad. And when I fooled my dad, I saw that I fooled him on the look in his face, and he's
Yeah.
like an engineer, so he looked and he was like, "What? Do it with your sleeves up."
Yeah.
And right then it was like, I was so empowered and so like, there's something came over me where I was
Right.
like, if I can fool Dad,
Yeah.
and like it's not bad that I'm doing this.
Yeah.
This is where it's at. This
Isn't
is what
that
I want to
crazy,
do.
man?
And then got the kits. And actually in California, because my parents separated, I went to visit my mom, and there's a place called Seaport Village.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And there was
yeah.
a little magic shop there.
Yeah,
it was like a
I know
novelty.
it. Yep.
And she bought me a $120 set of Scotch and soda. And
Wow.
I have it to this day.
Yeah.
But it was beautifully made.
Oh,
And it's a
wow.
heck of a trick. I mean,
Yeah.
you do that at Fry's, and
Right.
that is what really got me like the confidence, because it's self-working,
Yeah.
to wow people. And I
Yeah.
could show everybody that and fool adults,
Yeah.
my friends. And that's when I really was like, okay, this is, you know, there's something cool about this. And I was inundated. I never stopped.
Oh man, people who are listening who don't know magic tricks and think that Adam's mom bought him a $120 glass of scotch.
That's what started me down the road,
As
you
a
know?
man I can drink.
Yeah.
No, I had that trick, and it's a coin effect.
Yep.
And it's killer. It is magic. It is something that, even when you know what's going on, it still feels cool.
And that's the precision of the gimmick and,
Yeah.
and the way it works is so it's like essentially it's 2 coins and then one vanishes and changes to another.
Yeah.
But the beautiful thing is you're giving them the gimmick.
Right.
And just
And
watch
it's in
them as
their
they
hand.
can't find
Yeah.
the secret. You know?
So I when I got involved at the castle,
lucky enough, when I became a junior member, when I was, because I grew up not too far from here, and one of the things is the castle lets junior members perform during brunch, which is like the greatest experience in the world.
Sure.
And so I'm performing in the close-up room. It's my very first time ever performing in the close-up room, and I couldn't believe it. And I was so excited. And I was doing, I wasn't doing Scotch and soda, but I had it in my pocket, you know? And I was doing another effect with a $50. And I told the story about when my grandfather reached up and pulled a coin from behind me, and how that was the first magical moment I remember. And after the show, this mom comes up with her son and says, I just wondered if you could do something. My son's never seen that trick. Could you do that for him? And so I reach in my pocket and I pull, I get it, and I do the effect, and I pull the coin out from behind his ear, and I said, you know what? You can keep this as your souvenir from the Magic Castle. And he couldn't believe it.
You gave him your Scotch and soda.
I realized and mine was a cheap one. It was like $50 still, and I was like, I just gave him, and he'll never know. Like,
absolutely.
I'm sure it's been spent
it'll
a dozen
drop
times.
once, and you'll be like, "Oh my gosh!" That's how it came from behind my ear.
The window is opened.
Yeah. I've spent many magnetic coins and things in soda machines, and just That's why I don't do. That's why I don't do coin magic.
Too expensive.
Yeah. I bought Schoolcraft set, and it was like a $600 set. It was beautiful.
Oh yeah.
Like, I'm gonna start getting into it, and I literally, the first time I dropped one of the gimmicks, and it bent it to the point where I couldn't use it. Yeah. And Jamie's great, so send it back.
Right.
But I'm like, dude.
And these are tools, so you think, oh, it's an investment because it's something I'm going to use. But there's a difference between like a musician going, I'm going to buy $1,000 electric guitar, and a magician going, I'm going to buy $1,000 thing that I could put in my pocket. Yeah. It could go through the wash. Exactly. I could lose it.
Or I might use for only one corporate event a year. You know, I know guys that buy $10,000 illusions for one event.
Oh man.
That's
why I got out of the illusion game.
Yeah, a deck of cards. Give me a deck and a close-up mat.
I had, and this was a couple years ago, but I had consecutive nights I had shows, and it was like on the Friday night, I was doing illusions and bringing a PA and emceeing, and I hired a guy to do close-up magic. And then the next night, I did 3 hours of strolling magic, same price. Yeah. And I was like, what am I doing with my life?
Exactly. Absolutely. I mean, I didn't
throwing my back out.
100%. Even 3 hours of strolling will throw your back out,
Yeah.
I didn't get into even stand-up magic until about 2 years ago. And it was Gregory Wilson that I did Wizard Wars.
Yeah.
And Gregory's a friend. I love him dearly. And he was like, I said, dude, that's the first time I've ever stood on a stage to do magic.
To do that show?
First time I'd ever stood on a stage. No. I mean, I'd done kid parties.
Right, but there's a big difference between...
Never once. I was
strictly 100%, you did close-up magic.
I was a strolling magician. That was... I liked close-up. I liked sleight of hand.
Until how long ago?
This was 2.5 years ago.
That's incredible.
Yeah, and Gregory went, dude, you'd never had known that. You're a natural. And that little, like... From Gregory, who kills... Him saying that, I was like, I should develop a stand-up show.
Yep.
And I'm still working on it. It's been 2.5 years, and it's still far from perfect. But now I get it. Yeah. Gregory's like, look, dude. And my excuse used to be, well, in strolling or close-up, I get to connect. I make eye contact. I touch them. I converse. I make jokes. Yeah. I don't get that on stage. And he was like, oh, dude. He's like, listen to me.
Yeah.
You can go do 2 hours of strolling and get $1,500, $2,000.
Yeah.
You can stand on stage and get $3,000 to $5,000.
Right.
But the nice thing is, when you're on stage, everyone in the room is looking at you, paying attention to you. It's your time. Right. You get to do the show that you know how it is with strolling. Right. The waiter puts some food in front of you, and everything is forgotten.
Yeah.
Or you have to end your set quick. And that sparked it. And then the first couple stand-up shows I did, I remember Eric Mead had said something, because I was very much about, I'm going to perfect my show. Yeah. So I'm not one of these guys that's going to be bad first. And everyone says, no, you're going to be bad for the first couple of years. Just deal with it. No, I'm not. It's not going to be me.
You wanted to have it all lined up before you ever did it once. Yeah.
I wanted to go out and for people to be like, that was the best show I've ever seen. Even Eric was like, dude. Yeah. Yeah. You know how you're going to get good is you're going to be bad for a long time.
Dude, I'm telling you, there's a themes that come up on this podcast, and one of them is that you have to have the space to suck. Yeah. In order to get better. Yeah. I mean, nobody.
That's hard. That's a hard thing to swallow, though, right? As somebody who's going, you know what, I'm going to make this my career, and I'm going to build a show for it. I want to start performing. I want to get out and get paid. And then I'm a decent marketer, so people pay me pretty well. And my show is a year fresh. So I don't want to be okay saying, you know what, they're getting kind of a halfy show. I want to feel like it's a great show. And some audiences love it and some might not love it as much. But there is, I think it would be great to say, like, I have an open mic that I can go to and do for free.
There isn't for magic.
No, and you can, you're a comedy magician or whatever it is, but the reality is you are going to have to take people's money, and probably more than they should pay you, and go do the best you can do. And if you do the best you can do, my advice to anybody that fought the battle that I've fought, which was, how do I know from all my mentors and greats saying you're going to suck, go practice somewhere first, and turn down money. So I put in my clause that if you're not 100% satisfied, you don't pay me. And I make it very clear to them, because I don't want to take money that isn't granted to me, that I didn't deserve or earn. And I've never had one person not pay me. But I do get very honest feedback with that. You know, people will say, you know, I think it should have gone a little longer. You said 55 and it was only 40.
Oh, that's so good, Adam.
And to me, it's that little bit that's okay. Hey, if I screw up, I promise you will hear no racy comments. No one will be offended. But if you don't think that the entertainment was up to your standards, then you don't pay. And I make very clear, they have videos of other shows I've done, so they know what they're getting into. And that gave me the confidence to say, hey, it's like the ball's in their court now. I'm going to do my best, and if it's not good enough, then they don't pay me for it. And that gave me the confidence to kind of feel like, I don't think my show sucks, but if it isn't, you know, maybe I get a $10,000 show. And I'm going to go, well, whoa, it's the same show I just did for $2,500. Okay, but if I say you get your money back if it wasn't the value you expected.
You leave it up to the client
Exactly
to say. See, I think the very fact that you're in that mindset, that you want to not cheat people, that you want to be the best performer you can, that's when you know you're doing the right thing, man. Like, because there are cats out there, I talk to guys all the time who come off stage and are like, I killed. And I'm like, first of all, I've never killed. You know what I mean? To like,
I've seen
you know what I'm
5
saying?
performers kill, and it's usually Bill Malone 4 times in a row, and then David Williamson.
And so it's like, I think the very fact that as a performer, you're like, I'm not going there to take a paycheck. I'm going there to give an experience. And if I don't give the experience, I don't deserve the paycheck.
Absolutely.
Bro, then that's the space you want to be in. You
and
know?
everyone's experience is different, right?
Exactly.
I mean, tonight, their experience is have fun, let's smile and laugh. A corporate event, their experience may be, I want everyone leaving here with X, Y, and Z message. And you do a killer show, but you forgot their message, right?
See,
So it is about pleasing your customer. That's what we're doing. We're not fooling them. You know, we're entertaining to a point, but it's really about finding out what their needs are, exceeding those needs, and then you're going to get rebooked because you've done more than they asked.
This is the difference between being a name artist that people, you know, came to see Seinfeld. They're paying because they want to see Seinfeld do Seinfeld's show. But when you're doing corporate entertainment, you're in the service industry. Ultimately, your role is not to have people walk away. And this is where I think a lot of guys struggle in the corporate market is your goal can't be, I want them to walk away going, that was the best magic show I ever saw. Because ultimately, they're not hiring a magic show. They're hiring a moment with their team. You know, they're hiring their clients going, thank you for hosting us and bringing us out. So it is that kind of weird vibe of like...
Most guys killing it in the corporate world, which I'm sure you can attest to, don't ever sell a magic show. Because imagine an HR department head going to the boss going, I need 10 grand for a magician. What? Right? But hey, I need 10 grand for a motivational speaker or for a meeting head or an MC. And that's the reality is we're not magicians, right? We're conduits to their end goal, which is whatever it is. And it might be, I want my VIPs to laugh and have a good time. Great, then we go do what we do. But it might also be, I want to inspire these people to love coming to work because everyone's just sort of down in the dumps. You're not a magician at that point. You're a motivational speaker. Using magic, you know what I mean? So a guy, David Hyra, big corporate guy, he does a course in Costa Rica, a course on corporate entertainment.
He's in Texas?
He lives in Texas, he's doing a course out of Costa Rica, and I just signed up for the February class.
Very cool.
And his big selling pitch is that I don't have customers, I have clients.
Yep.
Because they continue to book me over and over.
Relationship.
And also, I never, ever book a magic show. And my friend and I had talked about that.
Yep.
And we were like, I'm calling BS because you're a magician.
Right.
And my friend just went through the course. And
Yeah.
he was like, Adam, he never once books a magic show.
Yeah.
You just have to experience it and see. But magic is never mentioned.
Yeah.
You know? And I love that.
Yeah.
I love that approach. So I'm anxious for the course. I'm excited.
That's
you know?
great, man. That's great.
We'll see how it goes.
It's such a different perspective that I think a lot of guys, and I've done this in the past where I just didn't get that for the longest time. I thought that it was all about make the show the most magical or the most, mesmerizing or fool them the most. And it's like, ultimately, what are you leaving them with? It's like when you're doing a keynote, what do I want them to walk away with? What's the takeaway?
Mm-hmm.
What are they going to talk about tomorrow? And then building the experience around that.
I used to think it's all the magic has to be. I mean, there are magicians that will do 100% original material.
Right.
And I used to think that's what a good magician was. That somebody went out and did their own stuff or even their own presentation to a classic, whatever it was.
Yeah.
So I tried for a long time, the first year of developing my show. And then slowly started piecing in things from Bill Abbott,
Yep.
Cody Fisher, things that work. And I was like, no one in my audience could care. They give literally 1 ounce of energy into caring if what I'm doing is original to me or if it's a Cody Fisher thing I bought.
Yeah.
They want to be entertained.
Yeah.
And that's really what has stuck with me the most is you want them to remember you as an individual, sure, because when they want another magician, they want a Adam Wilber. They don't want a magician.
Right.
But really, you just want to entertain them. And for me, more than half my show is commercial magic that other magicians would go, I thought this was some like creative guy. Why is he doing everyone else's stuff? And I think it's because I've creatively realized that their stuff works better, for me.
You know what, man? And I think I just had this conversation recently on the podcast with Arthur Trace about originality, and
he's very original.
Because this is one of my struggles, because there's the balance. Like, everything we're saying right now is what works if you want to be a corporate guy that makes good money and supports clients, because ultimately it's not about you, But there's part of me that I go back and forth with it. Like, even talking with Arthur, I was like, man, like, my struggle is there's this part of me that wants to do the creative stuff, but then I know certain environments that's not, at a sales meeting where they didn't even know they were going to see a magic show, and they're round tables and half of their backs are toward you, and sometimes there's the thing that works for that environment.
Absolutely.
And it's not the thing where they've got to give focused attention that's just about,
I think there's two different fields of it. There are the artists,
Yeah.
right? And yes, I'm a corporate entertainer whose most of my show is other people's material, but I'm still an artist. But Arthur Trace, for example, is a pure artist. Like, if you put my show and his next to each other, his is a very artistic, beautiful show, which would work fine in most corporate events. Mine is a very corporate, clean comedy magic show, and that's the direction I'm going in. I want to focus on making as much money performing magic as I can without bastardizing myself or prostituting myself.
So good, man.
Where Arthur, I believe, is a true artist. He looks at it in a different field. He looks at it as, this is my art and I am going to use it the way I see fit. And both of those are right. There's no wrong answer to either of them. I think it is wrong to say getting up there on stage and doing things that aren't maybe as artistic or original is not correct or not the right way to go. I don't believe that at all, because like you had said, the corporate entertainment, we're servants. We're in a service industry.
Yeah.
Where when Arthur does a theater show, people are paying for that artistic expression.
Yeah.
So I think it's the same umbrella. We're just on different sides of it. He's doing one thing, and then there's another spectrum of people who do a mix of both. Michael Carbonaro, his touring show, you can go buy that at the Magic Apple right now.
I haven't seen his
90% of his show you can go and pick up at any magic shop in America. He travels with a briefcase the size of that.
Wow.
It's a carry-on size briefcase, and he does an hour and a half, and by the end, you are absolutely in love with this guy. He does one bit at the end, which is very creative and personal to him with shaving cream.
Yeah.
But it has nothing to do with magic or the show.
Wow.
Everything else is literally store-bought magic, but it's the way he presents it where that creativity and artistic.
He's figured out a way to use that as a vehicle to get the audience to connect with him.
And him and Copperfield are some of the two best. Copperfield's getting a little older now, but at his prime, I don't know if one person could leave the theater without saying, I just want to go hang out with this guy.
Yeah.
I genuinely fell in love with this man on stage. He's incredible, But so is Arthur. It's the same thing, but their shows could not be more opposite.
But it's good that you take the time to go, what do I want to leave the audience with? I think for so many years, I didn't do that. I honestly didn't. Like, I never looked at my show as a beginning to end through line. Like, it was just always like, oh, here's a thing I've worked on for 3 months and I'll do that. And then here's another thing. And here, it was all, it was almost like a band putting together a set list. Like, there was no structure. It was just like, now I want to play this song.
Yeah.
And I just think it's healthy to go whatever route you take, whatever effects you do, to really think, what is it that I want to do? And like you're talking about, how can I, if I'm doing this as a job, how can I make money doing this?
Yeah, I mean, I can BS all day and pretend it's the love of magic and this and that. I love magic because I love magic. I love everything about it. I love that you're using common truths to manipulate, and that you're taking people on a journey to forget their issues.
Yeah.
But the reality is, I am in magic to support my 2 children and to make a living.
Yeah.
So why don't I make as much money doing it as possible? And it's taken a while, but I now understand where that is. It's in corporate America, which means, or you can go the other route. You could be Copperfield and put the time in to get that show. But for me, to make the most money with my skills and what I'm good at, it's corporate America, and I know the path to get there. And that's borrowing thing. And it's not borrowing. These things are on the market. I'm buying products that have been tested, putting my personal, personality to them, and making money with that.
I love that you're bringing this up, because, Adam, there's not a magician out there who would not look at you as one of the most creative innovators. I mean, you design stuff that other people do.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't think a week goes by that I haven't seen you post a video of something that I've never seen before.
Yeah.
But I love that you're able, and it's speaking to me, that you're able to look at it from both perspectives, because for so long, maybe it's because magic started off as a hobby, as a passion, as a joy. For so long, I was like, I need to feel that same passion and joy about everything I do. You know what I mean?
Sure,
And
absolutely.
sometimes those are not the things that pay the bills. But now it's like, okay, I'll go do a corporate event, and maybe it's not my favorite show, but then I can go do a show here, on Sunset, or, Scott Neary's show, or Nerd Melt. None of those pay the bills, but they're ways to still have the creative fun stuff
100%.
in the process.
Very valid point, and I think that outlet is essential. I have a Diamonds Magic shop that I can go to, test out whatever, say whatever, be colorful, just be me.
Yeah.
And I know that might work there, and some of it might bomb there.
Yeah.
So, I do get to play.
Yeah.
And with my kids, I do things to my wife and kids that's fun. That's like, the stuff I post on Instagram, or a lot of the stuff I create is because I'm not stupid. I know what magic sells.
Yeah.
I run an online magic company that sees a video, and they try and figure it out. If they can figure it out, they don't buy it.
Yeah.
If they can figure it out and reverse engineer it, for instance, a card trick.
Right.
10 years ago, you could make $50,000 on a card trick download.
Right.
Right? Because it's not stolen. It's not shared the way it is.
Yeah,
You'd have to buy the DVD and bring it home.
Right.
Today, you have to sell an electronic item or something that they can't make themselves.
Yes.
Or fool them so badly in the trailer
that
they buy it to figure it out. That's not the magic I put out on stage. That's not I do some of my stuff, but people say, how do you use pyro in your shows? And I honestly just show people what the device is, and I let them fire it off.
Yeah.
I say, I invented this. It's a tool for magicians. Here, try it out.
Yeah.
And that kills an hour of time. I mean, you get a circle around and everyone wants to do it.
Totally.
Is that the wrong way to use it? It can't be. I invented the thing, right? So I have people who say, oh, well, that's stupid. You're giving away the secret.
Yeah.
Well, look, it's either give away the secret and say there's this little device that's shooting fireballs, or the other side of that is expect your audience to believe that somehow you're shooting fire from your hands, right? Like, I don't want to perform for an audience that is going to believe I have that kind of power, right?
Yeah.
So I think I create magic because it's fun. It's therapy for me.
Right.
I like working with my hands. But again, I've tried working the magic I create into my stuff, and it isn't. The magic I create is usually visual or to camera. People don't care about that. People want to be entertained. And if you're showing them something that's just, you don't know how this works, well, that wasn't fun for me.
Yeah.
I don't like to be fooled. That's a lie. If someone, there's this saying, people love to be fooled. That's not true. People don't like to be fooled.
No.
Everyone wants to know a solution. So how do you get them to come along for this ride where essentially the entire time you're fooling them, right? Make them laugh or smile or touch their heart or whatever it is.
Yeah.
You know? So I love creating, but I'll be the first to admit I might use one piece that I've marketed. I have some stuff that I won't put out, but in my shows, it's all stuff that I know works and I didn't invent because I can respect the people that have put. Cody works on something for 5 to 6 years before he puts it on the market.
It's crazy, yeah.
I respect that more than I could even say in words. Bill Abbott, same thing.
Yeah.
He's coming out with his new confabulation.
Oh yeah.
He's been teasing it for 6 months.
I saw that.
I'm like, Bill, stop with the teasing and just send the thing. But I love that I know for a fact it'll be there when I get home.
Yeah.
I can rehearse it for a month and then it'll go directly into my show.
And it'll play great.
It'll kill.
Yeah.
It will absolutely. I guarantee it'll replace my confabulation. Within a month.
Yeah.
And it will probably get a 10 time. It's because he's been working on it for 10 years. You know. And I create magic. I did a thing called Solved, where a mini Rubik's Cube solves itself. That was an Instagram video.
Right.
2 months later, it was on the market.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie to people and say, "Oh, I've worked this for 6 years." It's a little toy, man. It's cool and it's visual. If you can find a presentation for it that kills, email me. You know.
Yeah.
Where Bill is the opposite. Bill will say, "Oh, I've had this for 5-6 years, but it's not ready," you know. And I respect that. It's just not the way that I'm more of, you know, I have to have something new over and over. So okay, that one's done, and it's probably the wrong approach. I should probably hold it tighter and hone it and perfect it. But I know that doesn't work for me, so I don't do it, and I don't pretend to. You know.
Well, I feel like it's a healthy perspective, man, because I love how creative you are and how unique you are, and yet you're saying you have to approach this like a business, and you have to, you know, when you're a dad with 2 young kids, you don't have the luxury to just do you know what I'm saying?
Sit in your office for 3 days straight.
Yeah, man. It's like
absolutely. And also, my wife's a stay-at-home mom.
Yeah, mine too.
Hardest job on the planet.
Absolutely.
You know, God bless her, but I'm responsible for everybody in our house and the financial well-being of them. So I can either play with some toys for 10 years or I try and use my creativity more in the marketing aspect. Because
that's huge, man.
That's how everyone's heard it, but it's the business part of the show. And most magicians just stink at it. Or the ones that are really good at it are subpar magicians. There are so many magicians out there killing it.
That nobody knows.
That no one knows, and they're really not that great.
Yeah.
They're not terrible, but they're not that great. They're just extremely good at marketing.
Yeah.
You know, look at Joel Bauer.
Oh, yeah.
He's a very brash, hard individual that is hard to like, and he's a multi-millionaire because of how good he is at marketing.
Right. He does I think he does 3 effects.
Yep. And now he does. I've heard stories of him at trade shows where he would just berate people.
Oh, he would just he cold calls trade shows. Or at the time would just walk into a trade show without a job and book a show and do it that day. I can't even imagine that, but it shows you how if you really want to, his book was what, Hustle or whatever it was.
Yeah.
If you really want to work, you've got to work.
And that's his whole thing was this is about money. Take your magic and shove it. This is about money. You are going to hustle to get paid. I think he touches twice in that whole book on have a good act.
Right.
And the reality is you really don't, this sounds horrible, but you don't have to have a good act to make a good living as a magician. There are people out there with subpar acts that do very well. Right. It's wrong in so many aspects because it hurts us as people who try. But again, someone's paying them over and over for a reason, and whether it's the back end work that they're doing to stay connected. Yeah. You know, I know a guy out of New Orleans, and he's decent, and it's every hack line and he's a decent performer, But what he specializes in is relationships, and he goes
Yeah.
out of his way. He doesn't do a magic show. He does a magic show. He stays and helps them clean up after.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
He shows up a day early just to be there.
Yeah.
And that is what works for him. It's not the magic. The magic's his
Yeah.
conduit to be a servant for them, essentially, part of their service.
Right.
And he does probably twice as good as I do every year, and his business grows every year.
Right.
You know, so it's such a big field and a big market that there are people like Arthur and very, very artistic individuals. I think I'm blanking on his name right now. Justin Willman.
Yeah.
I think his creativity is on another level because he's super creative in the way that he can project his brand and what pieces fit with him. Justin Flom's another great example.
Totally. Yeah.
A lot of this isn't their material,
Right.
but the way they're putting it together and putting their personality to it, that is now their brand. And look what it's done for both of them.
Yeah.
They're two of the top guys out there right now. You know,
That's so good. I feel like they've both found the thing that I've been struggling with. For example, I'll take a stock vanishing ketchup bottle, right?
I open every show with it.
Do you?
Absolutely.
Oh my gosh. Okay, we can talk about this. I've over the last 6 months I've stopped doing it, and here's my reason. Not because, okay, I've done it for 10 years, and it's gotten to the point where I took something that was a stock piece, you know, and it kills. But the best part about it is not the trick. It's all the jokes, it's
Absolutely.
the story, it's
Yeah.
the connection. And I'm trying to find right now, for me, like I feel like both the Justins you mentioned have been able to find out that thing about them that is bigger than the trick, and that comes first. Do you know what I'm saying?
I do, yeah. I think both of them are really great brand ambassadors of themselves.
Yeah.
All of their visual assets, all of their marketing online. They're both good-looking, young guys. I mean, Justin did his Cupcake Wars, and that was a huge
Right.
push for
Oh,
him,
yeah.
right? And I think they both... You can't find anything online from either of them that does not look like it was a Hollywood production.
Right.
So everything
Everything's done
about their
quality.
brand
Yep.
is, if I see anything to do with them, it's on another level. And I think that comes through. So when you watch them, that persona comes out as like, I'm on another level. Just go check my credentials. Dude, I got videos from 2009 on YouTube where I'm in a wife beater t-shirt and my boxers doing card tricks. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
is it smart? I don't really care. Like, that's
Dude, I love it.
as from the business side, it probably is a bad idea, but I think they understand the game, they understand the image game and the brand game, and they've built their name as such a beautiful brand that it's pretty untouchable. And then things come along with that, you know, they get opportunities, and I mean, it doesn't hurt. They're both very good-looking young
Right.
guys, right? Like, and very charismatic.
Yeah.
So that works for them. That won't work for me. I'm a tattooed up guy with earrings, and like, I'm just a regular dude. I want people leaving my show going, oh, that's probably a really cool dad. I bet his kids love him, and I'd honestly like to go have a beer with that guy.
Yeah.
Because that's the only thing that's going to
good,
work
man.
for me. I'm not going to
Dude, I
go to a
love
biker
that.
bar and try and do magic. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So I think for me, the ketchup bottle is just because it's that you have the 30 set. Did you used to produce it from a balloon, or did you just come out
No.
with it in a bag?
I would just come out with it in the bag, yeah.
So there's a UK guy, and I basically I bought it, so I have the rights to it, but I took his presentation.
Yeah.
And he blows a balloon up. He produces it from the balloon. So now they're going, all right, I'll watch this guy.
Yeah.
And he splits the audience and says, this side, we're going to start with you. We'll see who gets a better reaction. But he's just training his audience to applaud and go crazy.
Yeah.
And it took about a year for me to find a trick.
Yeah.
I used to open with silk to egg, and now that's number 2.
Yeah.
Because it's like it took half my show for the audience to understand they can clap.
Yeah.
Just by adding that ketchup bottle bit,
Right.
and splitting the audience,
Yeah.
I must get 30 clap breaks throughout my show now.
Wow.
And before it might have been 5 to 10.
Because you're right out of the gate establishing.
And letting them know it's okay. We're supposed to clap here.
This is
We're
how we
supposed to
interact. Yeah.
Hey, you clap. No, you didn't clap loud enough. You guys are my people.
Yeah.
And it's that little psychology. But for me, I'm okay with that not being my effect. I didn't add any creativity to it. I changed the script slightly.
Yeah.
But I'm okay with that because, again, it's my end goal. What's my end goal? Making the best show I can for my client, which means I want them hearing them clap for me.
Yeah.
I want them having fun. And I've used it ever since. And I love it. And, you know, I have magicians in my audiences that will, oh, you open with ketchup bottle, huh? Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah, I do. And I love it.
Yeah.
You know, oh, well, that's been around forever. Sure it has. Not a single layman in this audience knows it, you know. And that doesn't bug me. You know,
this
that
is
part
really,
doesn't bug me.
it's like messing with me in a good way, this conversation. Because I have, man, the past year, I've probably been in this funk of like becoming really good at corporate MC and not to brag, that's just, I've done it enough that I get what's needed in that genre.
Sure.
But I'm kind of like hating that I'm good at that because there's like this artistic side of me that wants to do original things and wants people to not remember me for a trick someone else came up with. But you're challenging me, man, because it's like there's a lot of very artistic, starving artists.
And that's the thing. Look, man, you're doing this podcast,
Yeah.
right? I mean, this is an artistic venture of your own. And
Right.
maybe it's not you painting the Mona Lisa
Right.
or coming up with the end-all, be-all confabulation routine.
Yeah.
But this is an expression of your artistic ability in a way that isn't. You're a corporate entertainer because you have kids and a wife to feed, right?
Right, yeah.
If you want to be an artist, great. Like, I get to be an artist on Instagram or on
Right.
products I sell.
Yeah.
And that's fine. But for me, I want to do the absolute best show so they hire me again.
That's beautiful.
And I know that there are people who do. I could probably take a plethora of notes from you and incorporate it directly to make my show better. And I would love to do that because I don't care if I'm creating my own show. Now, if I was going to enter a contest,
Right.
I'm working on an effect right now specifically to win a magic contest.
Yeah.
I don't know which one, but I want to win one. I never have.
Yeah.
It's just one of those weird
Right.
things where I'm like, I want a trophy.
Right.
And that is fun because there's no time limit to it. I don't
Yeah.
have a set goal. I'm not getting paid for it.
It's not your end game.
Exactly. It's not feeding me.
I think a lot of magicians have this misconception because I think years ago you could win, you know, when Lance Burton could win FISM and then have a career, you know? I think a lot of guys now think that that's going to lead to some other like you know, but it's like
It does for some. Shin,
Yeah.
it started Shin.
Yeah.
But really, Fool Us is what put Shin to where he is now.
right. Oh yeah.
People knew he won FISM, and honestly, he got more crap for that from haters being
Really?
like, oh, it's, you know, than any real benefit. I mean, of course, it's good to have done it.
Right.
But then Fool Us hit, and the general public saw what he did.
Yeah.
And that was it, you know?
But he also was smart enough to spin that into a career.
He's a very smart.
You know what I mean?
He's,
Like-
he's such a unsuspecting genius.
Yeah, I
He's
love
one of
it.
my best friends, and he is, he's just a sweet little kid, you know.
Yeah.
But he's very, very smart.
Yeah. There's a lot of guys who have like, it's just like you see on YouTube, someone will have a viral video and then because they didn't make tons and tons and tons and tons of videos, you know, there was no game plan beyond
Exactly.
I want to go viral just to go viral, or I want to win
Or
a
they
competition
think,
just to win it.
If I go viral, I'll be booked for the rest of my life.
No.
You know?
No.
And so my Fool Us thing was supposed to air the day that tragedy in Vegas happened.
Right.
So they postponed it.
Yeah.
No word of when it's going to air. And at first I was like, ooh, yo, this could lead to a lot of shows. So I talked to a bunch of people. The reality, people are like, yeah, you'll get some.
Yeah.
You'll get some. Like Bill Hur's corporate kills corporate.
yeah,
I mean, he owns
genius.
the corporate.
Yeah.
And he was like, well, look, dude, yeah, you'll get a little bit from it, but don't expect
Right.
the phone to stop ringing, you know,
Yeah.
or not stop ringing off the hook. And everyone, Paul Gertner, even the guys that have fooled them badly with great, over a couple million
Right.
views, all say the same. Yeah, you know, it's your 5 seconds of fame because
Yeah.
guess what? Next week, there's 3 more people on that same show,
Yeah, you're right.
you know?
You're right.
So-
and it's it's that thing too that, you know, in corporate especially, we're talking a lot about corporate magic, but in corporate there's certain decision makers. That's who you need to, you know, it's not about your accolades. It's does the person who did this event and had you at it, are they going to vouch for you? Because I trust them more than I trust this guy I've never heard of. You know?
Absolutely. Yep.
And yeah.
You can even have, I mean, you do have to have some good online presence.
Yeah.
Especially in the corporate world.
Right.
Now, with this keynote speaking stuff, a big
Yeah.
thing is your social following.
Right.
You know, how many people do you have on your YouTube and on your
Right.
on your Facebook or your Instagram?
Yeah.
And that is essentially just their security blanket.
Yeah.
You know, if I have 100,000 people who follow me on YouTube,
Right.
you can be pretty safe to bet you're going to be all right at a corporate event. I don't have to worry about you coming out in your underwear or something stupid, right? And I think that's like, that's tough, right? Because we work so hard on our craft,
Right.
stage presence, and entertainment. It's such a different thing to be behind a camera or get a following. That's an art in its own.
Yeah, and even the effects you would do, or the
Exactly.
it's playing to
That's
the camera
what
is
Flom-
different than playing to 5,000 people in an auditorium.
I
Like,
think that's where Flom excels,
Oh,
is that
totally.
he takes that to another level,
yeah,
but then also figures out a way to do it on stage. I mean,
Yeah.
I saw him do, I think there were 50,000 people in the audience, and
Incredible.
he was doing card tricks
Isn't that
on
amazing?
stage with a camera.
yeah,
What?
yeah,
Over and over and killing
Right.
it, you know? And
Yeah.
it's like if that had never happened and someone said, 50,000 people out there, go do Triumph
right,
with a camera. I'd
Yeah.
be like, I'm not doing it.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
not going to work.
Yeah.
And, you know, so I love that they push the envelope in that way, you know. And Wilman with TV shows and
Oh,
comedy
yeah.
specials, he does
Yep.
it in his own way. you
Yeah.
know. But I think that's the art. They're both very good at media, whether
Yeah.
it's social media, whether it's Justin doesn't get on a bunch of news agent. He just does great videos.
Right.
That's his career.
Yeah.
Willman got on some TV stuff, you know, and that again is in an art, and I think it's hard. It's getting harder for magicians to be accepted in that world, and you have to know marketing. You have to
Right.
know online marketing. You have to know viral success. You have to know social media.
Yeah.
And all of that has to come after you've got a show that you can sell.
Yeah.
Right. So, you know, I think it aids, it helps.
Yeah.
You know, we have business cards that we can tell people go online and look.
Right.
But it's also, you know, I know some old timers that are lucky they have their clientele, because if they were starting out now, I know guys that kill with no website at all.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And to me, I'm like, well, how do people find you?
Oh,
Well,
totally.
I've been working with the same people for 20 years. It's
Yeah.
like, oh, I get it, you know?
In
It's a totally different world.
in every industry though, like
Absolutely.
I
Yeah.
met I met the guy last week at a corporate event. I met Ben Burt is his name,
Mm-hmm.
and he's the sound producer for all the Star Wars films.
Cool.
So he came up with how the lightsabers sound and R2D2,
Sick.
and like
Very cool.
when you hear Darth Vader, it's like him breathing in a scuba mask.
Cool.
This dude has like built an entire career with no website,
Yep.
like solely on word of mouth, which you still can do.
Yeah,
But
I think it's a lot harder
It
now,
is a lot harder
you know?
because everyone's got social media and everyone's got a video, and everyone's throwing this at an event booker, and they got to decide between.
My buddy Vin, who's in the keynote, said he has a course that he sells, and in his course he said, it's awesome what he did, but he palmed a GoPro in a meeting with somebody who booked him for a keynote.
Yeah.
So he's literally just pulled it out of his bag, and as he was chatting with her, he was palming it to
Yeah.
get the audio, because he was asking her, could you run me through the booking process?
Yeah.
I'd love to know, like, the no BS booking process. Shoot
Yeah.
me straight. All right, for this event, we had 30 speakers.
Right.
And all we do is take their trailers,
Yeah.
their video trailers. We sit in a room. There's 10 of us. We watch them. We whittle it down to 5, and we vote out of those.
Yeah.
And Vin was like, "Oh my God!" So I got number one. So Vin also owns a video production company, which is very smart because he can pitch his keynote,
Right.
but I'll also film your entire conference.
Right.
Right. So now we're talking
Yeah.
big money. But he's got, by far, hands down, the best trailer for a keynote speaker I've ever seen.
Really.
It is, I mean, it almost puts you in tears, man. It's absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
And she says, the best thing you can do, I don't care about, we don't look at anything. We look at literally the rest of the 10 people here.
Yeah.
Don't know if you have a social following, don't
Right.
know what your message is, don't know who you are.
Right.
We click play, everyone gets a number, and we vote. And that, she's like, I've worked at many different places. That's how all of them are hired.
Yeah.
Now, there are certain speakers where I want that speaker, sure.
Right. Yeah,
But
yeah.
if it's, hey, we need to fill a speaker, here are the 10 candidates. So the most important thing, at least from what I hear from him, in the keynote world, is have a trailer, tells them what your message is, impresses them,
Yeah.
and over-delivers a little bit. And I think that's why Vin, I mean, he's at the top. And obviously, you're never at the top of your game, but he is. I look at people where I want to aspire to be. He's
Yep.
exactly where I want to be in 3 years.
That's great,
And in my head, I'm like, okay, First step, well, obviously write the speech. Second step, get that trailer.
Right. Oh, yeah.
And I one piece of advice to anyone out there who is looking at any sort of entertainment field, just learn some online marketing. Go to squarespace.com, spend 2 weeks building a website, and if you can just do that, no matter what venture you're in, I'm just writing this book, that's going to have its own website. But luckily, I can get that done in 2 days now because I'm good with Squarespace.
Yeah.
And you don't need code. You can be a tech idiot like myself and make a good website. And I think no matter who you are or where you are in your career, if you learn that one skill set, developing a website that know what good ad copy is, how that's supposed to be spaced out, you can find all that online for free. But that would be the biggest. I have people who are so much better at magic and entertainment than me. And I look at their website and I'm like, dude, I want to help you make this better. Or they don't even have a website.
Right. Yeah. We are at a point, it's kind of a no excuses point in history.
100%.
Because 10 years ago, if you wanted a website, you had to pay $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 to someone to build it, and then a monthly fee for them to maintain it. You know,
and you get a new photo with the president you perform for.
Exactly.
Oh, shit. Now I got to mail it to him, and hopefully he'll set,
Yeah.
That's so, exactly. There are no excuses.
Yeah.
You can't say, I don't know how to. Can you turn a computer on?
Yeah.
Can you check your email?
Yeah.
Then you can make a website.
This podcast, I had the idea to do this podcast in October of last year. I started it in January. And between October and January, I learned how to do it, got the equipment, and started editing it. Like, I put these out every week, but I'm editing on an airplane. Like, how crazy is it that we live in a time where you can do that? And you don't need a whole staff and an entourage.
Exactly right.
But you've got to be willing, this goes back to the hustle thing, like, you've got to be willing to do more work just to be able to do the art. Do you know what I mean? Like,
exactly. No one's paying you to sit in your office and shuffle cards. Yeah.
But there are guys, I mean, we could walk to the Castle tonight and we will meet guys who are sitting there going, oh, I wish I was traveling. And it's like, do you know how much work it is just to get the opportunity to then spend 3 days traveling back and forth to perform for 45 minutes?
Which sounds all glorious. And I'll be the first to admit, I was like, yeah, that's it. I'm going to be a corporate entertainer because they're going to fly me to a nice hotel. I'll spend a long weekend there. Right. I'll get my applause. People will love me, and I'll go home. Yeah. That's fun for about 3 months. Right. And then it's like, oh, I missed my son's first day at school. Yeah. Because I had $5,000 gig I couldn't turn down. Right. Well, then you're home the rest of the time. I'm home the rest of the time busting my butt marketing. Yeah.
Or if you've got little kids. I mean, like, my girls are now, they're 9 and 12. So they're, how old are your kids?
3 and 5.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like, even now, like, when I'm home, I don't want to be working constantly, which means I don't sleep very much at all. Yep. Or I sleep.
You know what? Which is actually the worst possible thing you can do for your health. Regardless of what you eat, exercise, they say
sleep is
lack of sleep is slowly showing to be. There is like a line, and they say if you can't get at least 6 hours of sleep a night,
then it's like detrimental.
Yeah, I mean, there's a guy named
I feel it.
Hall something, and he was like health freak.
Yeah,
he wrote The Miracle Morning.
Okay,
phenomenal book if you're into morning routines and stuff. And he came down with this crazy rare form of cancer, and the doctors, and he's into some holistic stuff, and so he's tried everything. I think he's gonna beat it and whatnot, but all the doctors and his research were like, dude, you're sleeping 4 hours a night. Oh, and that was his thing. He was like, I get my 4 hours, I do my, and they were all like, you know what it is? Your body is just
shutting down. It just can't handle it.
Doesn't have time to fight stuff off.
Yeah.
So I will say a side note.
No, that's terrible. Like, this is going to be an awful point, what I'm saying. But I mean, like, and there are times like right now I'm like, I just need to rest and catch up. But all I'm saying is I can make every excuse in the world. Mm-hmm. I'm gone for 3 days, and when I get home, I know I'm going to have 2 days before I go again. I can make every excuse in the world to not work and go like, oh, I just need to spend time with my family. I do spend time with my family, but then when they go to sleep, I'm going to stay up a little bit and 100%. Get stuff done. Yep. Because...
Are you married?
Yeah.
So that's a great point, because exact same for me. I work my day job for E. Yep. That's early in the morning till about 5. I eat dinner with my kids,
Yep.
my wife, we put the kids to bed,
Yep.
and then I go right back to my office, which is extremely unfair to my wife, right?
Yeah.
So my wife is talking to a 3 and a 5-year-old all
Yeah.
day, running around, cleaning that. I mean, she's a freak of nature. I don't know how she does this.
Yeah.
But then when it should be, let's unwind and hang out,
Yeah.
I'm in the office.
Yep.
So she's literally like, can I talk to an adult
Yeah.
for more than 10 minutes?
Yep.
You know, and I have to find that line, because while I might be busting my butt, if she burns out, then I'm screwed. Then,
Right, yeah.
then the house falls apart.
Right, yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
know, so there does have, the hardest thing is finding the balance, you know?
Yeah.
Coming out here, it was like, she went on a cruise, her first vacation away from the kids
Yeah.
since we've had them. So I have both kids for a week by myself.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
And you're like, wow, this is a different
where's the
world.
number for reinforcements, man? You know,
Right.
But you have to figure out a balance in everything, in the family, in the sleep,
Right.
in the work.
Yeah.
And it is really easy to just say, okay, we're done. I'm going to the office to keep plugging away.
Right.
And it never stops. When whatever you were working on comes to fruition, what's the next thing?
Right.
Okay, well, now I got to bust my butt to get to that.
But how many guys do you know that are young guys that aren't married, that aren't dating anyone, that don't have kids, and they just bitch all day that they're not working?
Don't you wish
And
you
it's
could go
like,
back then and
you're
know
not
what you know
hustling.
now?
You're not doing.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like,
That's that Vanacek guy. His whole thing is like, shut up and get to work.
yeah, I was
What's
listening
the
to him on the way out
secret?
here
Work.
today. Yeah.
Bust, hustle. Like,
Yeah.
that's the secret.
Yeah,
There is
everyone's
no
looking
secret.
for the shortcut, and it's like, do your job.
And that
If
was
your
me
job
when
is-
Eric Mead and all those guys were saying, you're going to be bad. I was looking for that shortcut around accepting
Yeah.
the fact that you're going to start off not being that great or bad even.
Yeah.
There isn't.
Yeah.
There is not a shortcut. The only shortcut is to do the work.
And there is a preparation necessary. Like you said, you don't want to go up there and not know what you're going to do. But a lot of it is you need to get in front of as many people as possible.
Absolutely.
Because ultimately everyone who's ever performed knows this. Playing a guitar in your room is different than playing in front of 200 people who are staring at you.
Yep.
You know, doing a card trick that you've mastered is different than when now you've got to engage an audience after and before the tricks.
Cover all misdirection.
Yeah.
As well as almost every line that's original to me
Yeah.
in my show has come from my show.
Yeah, it's all improvised, and
It's
then you
it.
go, "Oh, that's great. Let's
Half
do
the time
that."
it's the other people saying it, and I
Yeah.
go, "That was actually really funny."
Thank you for
I
that
have
gift.
a thing, you know, the gags.
Yeah,
So I do think of a food item, and it's a barcode.
yeah,
And I won't say the line, but there's a line that this audience member spit out after.
yeah.
I've never not used it.
It's great.
I even went up to him after, and I was like, "What do you do?" "Oh, I'm a comedy writer for TV."
Oh, that's great.
And I was like, "Great. Well, so now I have his business card. I've worked with him a little bit, but
Yeah.
like just paying attention and
It's
you know,
glorious.
living the not so good performances to pick out what works and doesn't,
Yeah.
and take those lines and write them down. You know.
Yeah,
Other than that, it's just like I'm gonna be half Bill Malone, half Cody Fisher, and half
Yeah.
Bill Abbott on stage. You know.
well, I love it too because I can't believe that it's only been 2.5 years that you've done stand up.
Really, not even. It's been about a year that I've been selling that show.
Yeah.
I started last year around Christmas time, which was good
Right.
because it was busy and I was doing a lot of holiday parties.
Right.
So I haven't really tapped into. I respect what you do tremendously, and knowing about the MC is incredible. I was actually talking to a bigwig corporate. I'm out of the Boston area, and she's
Yeah.
out of there, and she said, "You know what? I don't know why I said it, but I was like, oh, and I could MC it too."
Right.
I mean, I've MC'd, but not. I don't know the art of MCing.
Yeah.
And I just threw it out there, and she was like, "Are you serious?"
Yeah.
I will tell you right now, that is the one thing that I would kill for.
Yeah, because
a good MC.
Because nobody wants to be the person that has to hold an event together. You know?
Yeah, I think you said it right. Most people don't realize they need an MC until
No.
it's too late.
No.
You know, and then at that point they're like, "Why did it suck?" And
Yeah.
even then you might have to educate them to go, "Because you didn't have an MC."
Right.
What do you mean? You know?
Yeah.
But that blew her mind. That really raised my value. I mean, I'd impressed her, but once I
Right.
said that MC thing, she was like, "Well, now we're talking.
Right.
I can keep you very busy." And I was like,
That's great.
Interesting.
That's
That's
great.
one thing I've yet to do is really
Yeah.
approach that. So, you know, I respect that you noticed it, followed through with it, and now you're doing your thing with it.
You know, that comes too just from saying yes to moments.
Yep.
You know, because that was not my idea. It was, I had an event booked, and I was going to do, you know, for years I would pitch, I'll do strolling before, like during the cocktail hour. and then I'll do an after dinner show. And here's the price for just strolling, just the after dinner, or both.
Classic structure.
Right?
Yeah.
And it worked great for me. And then one day they said, we have a lot of like speeches and raffles. Could you help us just kind of facilitate those from stage? And I thought, yeah, I mean, that's literally when you're doing a show on stage, that's what you're doing.
Absolutely.
From this moment, this routine, to this piece, to this story, to bringing this audience member up, the transitions are what make a great show,
100%.
right? And I just went, oh my goodness. So the next call I got, I offered strolling, after dinner show, both, or I could MC the whole event. And all of a sudden it became like, yes, we want to do that.
Very cool.
And
did you practice any, like, so now this is a new category that you can pitch out.
Right.
Did you then find literature on how to be a good MC? Did you buy books of MC lines, or were you like, look, this just is pretty natural to me because I'm already up there doing it?
Yeah, I mean, I had done it for years, in another job that I had.
Sure.
I was like the event planner, facilitator guy, know. So part of it was just it's something that's very comfortable for me, but also I really love kind of the whole picture of an event, which is what MC is.
Yep.
It's going. I mean, think about it. Every event hires a professional speaker for the most part. They hire a professional caterer. They hire a nice building. They get their president's going to come up and give a speech. And you go to some that have all of those things and it's terrible, and you go to some that have all of those things and it's great. The thing that makes or breaks it is those transitions from one element to the next. This took too long to get this thing going, or this was clunky when this person came up on stage, So it's just
very interesting.
I mean,
I love this. I'm taking this to heart because anytime I'm just performing at the Castle now.
Yeah.
I've now got a 20-minute set of upsell.
Yeah.
I've got a 20-minute formal show that has been seen at the Magic Castle.
Right.
That's value to a
Totally.
customer.
Oh yeah.
And to say like, I can MC the whole thing as well. It's just I don't like, the only thing that scares me is that you have to learn, you have to educate some people,
Yes.
and say like, you do need, like, trust me, you need an MC. But I guess if you're selling stand-up show, close-up show, and formal show, and the MC is the afterthought, they're either going to run with it or not, but it means nothing to you. If they do, great, a little extra money. And if you don't, the other thing is, I did talk to an MC, this was 2 years back, but he was like, yeah, there's not a lot of money in MCing.
Oh.
But he wasn't, I mean, he was, he liked to drink every day, early in the morning, right? He wasn't, he was an MC for like a local New Hampshire place. But
Got it,
his big thing was like, I love doing it, but I can't get people to pay me for it.
It is the hardest. Okay, so the first forte into MC that I did was when I was doing, I was performing for a lot of golf tournaments.
Okay, great venue.
It's great. And magicians, if you're looking for work.
I literally just launched a Target campaign.
Did you? Never mind, we'll cut this out.
It literally is, I second this. Anyone who wants to, and this sounds pompous, if you want to work for rich clientele, go to golf courses.
Do you want to? I can cut this out of the podcast if you don't.
No. I mean, there's so few magicians in New Hampshire. I'm worried about taking over.
Okay,
but it is. That's where I met George Bush Sr.
Yeah.
I met the president of the PGA Golf Tour. The list goes on. This is where rich people go to have fun.
Yeah.
And they have events almost every single week.
And no matter where the economy is at, there's
Exactly.
always golf tournaments because they're fundraiser tournaments.
Yep.
And there's the element of you've got two audiences at every golf tournament. You've got the golfers who have been playing all day. They just want to eat dinner, find out if they want to raffle, and go home. So you have to appease those people. But then the way a lot of organizations will make extra money is they'll sell tickets to just the dinner for people who didn't golf.
Expensive tickets.
Expensive tickets.
Yep.
So there's this balance of we have to entertain these people who paid $100 or $200 for a ticket. They've got to feel like they got their money's worth, but it can't drag on so long that the guys who got there at 6 a.m. to golf are losing their minds.
Spot on.
So-
Every golf thing I do is a 20-minute stand-up show.
Yes.
Almost across the board.
Yes.
And I started just, how much time do you want?
Yep.
And now I just say, look, this is going to work. It's 20 minutes. And I say almost exactly what you just said, which then in turn makes the people booking you go, oh, this guy totally gets it.
Right.
Sweet. He's a pro.
Yeah. Yeah, and you say that to them. You explain to them, this is what you're trying to accomplish.
Yep.
Here's why hiring me is going to do that.
Absolutely.
I can entertain the folks so that they feel like they got a great night out if they're just coming to the dinner.
Yep.
But I'm going to do it in a timely and effective way so that the folks who are here just
It's the golden nugget,
and
man.
we're gonna do the raffles at the end, and I'll be funny and add comedy into the raffles to make it flow smoothly.
Yep.
But we're gonna wait to do that at the end, so these guys don't leave before the show.
I mean, the other nice thing is the reality. When the economy is bad,
Yeah.
it's not the really rich people that it's bad for.
No.
And those people are still having parties.
Right.
And they're still going golfing.
Yep.
You know, it's the people that do birthday show parties. And
Right.
actually, that's not true. The people who do birthday show parties usually do pretty well because when the economy's bad,
They still
parents want to make their kids smile.
Yep.
But it's that sort of middle of the road private party when it's really bad that those shows disappear.
Right.
Corporate events don't really disappear. You
Yeah.
know? People still need motivation. It might be a friend of mine who's a keynote. Actually, David Hyra said this because I do believe we're gearing up for another economy smack in the face.
Yeah.
And I'd said, look, man, David's course is not cheap. And I'd said, let me ask you this. With what you do when
Yeah.
the economy tanks, do you do okay? What
Yeah.
happened in 08? He said it. I'll remember exactly what he said. He said, Adam, let me put it this way. When the economy's good, my clients want me. When the economy's bad, my clients need me.
Yeah, that's great.
I'm busier in a bad economy.
Yeah.
And I was like, where do I sign up? Here's my deposit.
Yeah. And all of this goes down to just not just going, hey, this is how you make money or how other people do it. It's looking for opportunities to do the same thing that you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, whether you're a magician or a musician or, you know, it's where are these opportunities to work?
Yep.
You know, because ultimately, like you've said, I think we mentioned this, like you've done the same show for $100 at one point that you now could do for $10,000 if someone wanted to pay that. It's just making wise decisions, you know?
Absolutely.
I mean, ultimately, I'm the same guy who was doing $150 birthday parties that can make $3,000 or $4,000 or $5,000 doing a corporate event.
Yep.
A lot of it's marketing. A lot of it is just focus on, you know,
The
how you do
scary
it.
thing is, the woman I told you about in the Boston area, when I told her about emceeing, was
Yeah.
like, oh, now we're talking.
Yeah.
I gave her my rates, and at that time, my rates were for strolling local, which
Yeah.
would have been Boston, was $1,500 for the first hour, $500 for the next, or any thereafter.
Right.
And then my stand-up show was $2,500.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's very fair.
Yeah.
Within 5 seconds of my rate sheet, she just seen me perform. She was like, "Oh, you're so great. Let me have your rate." Oh, and you gotta edit this. I can't bring that to my clients.
Yeah.
Well, what do you mean?
Yeah.
It has to minimum be a $5,000. So you need to put your strolling for $5,000 and then put call for price on your stand-up show.
Right.
Because she would have been too embarrassed after seeing me.
Isn't
and
that
loving
crazy?
Me, she was like, "I can't bring this to them because they'll see that and go, well, he's not a pro."
Yeah, and you could have said that same thing, had the same show to a different person in a different setting, and they go, "That's way too much."
And it's happened all the time. It happens.
Right.
I do Google pay-per-click.
Yeah.
95% of those people are price shopping.
Right. Yeah.
And one note for anyone out there who does pay-per-click: when you are too much, which you will be, make sure you are the person that finds them entertainment. You know, so my thing is 25. Oh, that's way out of my budget. No problem. What budget are you working with?
Yeah.
500. Great. I use the line, I run the world's largest magic shop. I also know all the performing magicians in the country. I'll find somebody that will exceed your needs.
Right.
And I can't tell you the amount of times that they go, wow.
Yeah.
And get them a good performer.
Right.
Adam booked me this guy for 500 and this guy was good.
Right.
But Adam's 25. Imagine what his show is.
Yeah.
And they 50% of the time they'll call you 3, 4, 6, 8 months
So
later.
good.
And it's just really helping them, right? It's not, yep, I'm out of your budget, see ya. It's, my job is to make sure you have a good show. I'm
Right.
not going to take a cut from this.
Well, this is how you maintain clients.
Exactly.
Because you never know. That person might be at a certain business where their budget is $500,
Mm-hmm.
and next year they might be working at a company where their budget's $20,000 for an event.
Yep.
And one of the things that I've done, and I could be better at, but I've done this several times where I've reached out to clients that I did at a Christmas party last year, and I'll reach out to them and say, look, I know that you're never going to find someone as good as you had last year, and joke with them, but I've got a friend who I think would be great for your event.
So smart.
Help your friends work.
Absolutely.
And maintain a client.
And I know this is probably wrong. I'm not a believer in taking a 10%.
Yeah.
Right? Oh, let me give you 10%.
Yeah.
And no offense, but if you book a $3,000 show, I don't want your $300. I want you to have it, and I want you to remember we have this partnership. I know you're good. You know I'm good. Let's piggyback that. That will be my incentive.
Yep.
And again, that client now goes, well, anytime I need a performer, I can just call Adam. He has one for me.
Right.
And that's good for me. That's
Yeah.
staying front of mind with people.
Yeah.
Normally what happens is they call for a private party. I'm way out of their budget.
Yeah.
And then they go to work and they go, actually, yeah, I know a guy.
Yeah.
Because now my company has the budget.
Right.
And I'd love to hire you for the company.
Yep. And you help them out.
It's
finding
just,
someone for
it is just about helping people out. If you can focus on genuinely helping people in your life, you don't have to try and be successful.
Yep.
And I'm slowly learning this through people I've met just recently. And at first, it's very off-putting. When somebody's just nice to you, like really nice to you, it's like, what's up, dude?
Right.
Like, what
when
do you
you're coming
want
from Boston, too, where
Exactly.
sometimes it's very,
my guard is up.
Like, what do you want? Why are you being nice to me? You
And
know?
I've just, over the last year, met 3 people specifically that have gone so far out of their way to just help me.
Yeah.
And I finally realized most of them are religious people, which I don't think that's the only people that do it, but in this circumstance, they're all Christians who really believe. They're all different people.
Right.
But they genuinely believe, I don't know if it's their faith that makes them believe that or what, but that helping people is why they're here and what leads to their success.
Yeah.
And they're all 3 very successful.
Yeah.
And truly has just come from favors they've done from other people.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to, I can see that resemblance in our industry.
Right.
When I book my homie out for that event, I get nothing for it because I refuse your 10%, but somehow it pays off. And it might be in a way I never know. I might find a 20 spot on the ground, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the real reason for it is that you feel good, right? That's the only way to genuinely be
When
happy.
you approach business and life in general, I really believe this. When you approach life based on how can I add value to people and not how can I take something
What
from them.
value can I get from
There's a sometimes as artists we have this desperation of like, oh, like I need them to want me, I need them to pay me. And when you just shift your mind, like it may be semantics, whatever, for me it works to go, how can I provide this client with the best experience? I can't tell you how many times there's been good money on the table and I've said, no, your guy is Joel Ward. Like, this is Joel Ward's gig. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Like, recommended guys that when I could have gone and I could have taken the money and I could have done a good job, but I knew what they needed was this other artist. Good always comes out of taking care of each other.
I could not agree more. I couldn't agree more.
In magic specifically, our competition is not guys who are kicking ass and doing a good job and helping people. Our worst competition is guys who are going to take someone's money and do a shitty job for them.
Yep.
Like, if we just take care of our clients and take care of each other, everybody's going to work.
And anyone who believes there's not enough work or more than enough work is just they're living in a twilight zone. Go to any city, throw a rock. You could book 5 shows in that space that you just threw that rock. You know?
Absolutely.
And it is a challenge because I think as performers inherently we are about clap for me, love me, want me, you know. And to change that, I'm reading a course right now, book course. It's called A Course in Miracles.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of it?
No.
Read it? It's deep, dude.
Yeah.
The original writings is all written in iambic pentameter.
Oh, wow.
So it's too much. But there's a guy that wrote a very good, it's not Cliff Notes because it's hefty, but it's an understandable version of it. It's like a translation of the Bible, if you will. You know, some people just can't, I don't understand it, and I didn't. But this is understanding. The entire thing is, I can't even, if you're into sort of like changing the way you think to change your life and the way you act to change your life, this book is a roadmap for that. And I'm a third of the way through, and little things.
Oh, that's rad, man.
It's all about love. Like, just live life with love, which means someone's hurt, pick them up. Or this client, like you just said, I'm not going to be, I can go buy the prop and I'll make your CEO appear.
Right.
But that's going to be the first time I've done it. Where John Doe over here
he
specializes
that's
in
his
that.
thing.
And if you can swallow your pride and put the money aside, I get it. Money is tight. Maybe you need the money, whatever it is.
Yeah.
try and do, like you said, the best service for that client, it's going to pay off. And it might take a year, it might take 2, but everyone I know who practices that is at least happy. They might not be filthy rich, but they wake up, they're good, happy people.
Yeah.
They're not rich, miserable people,
right.
which we're surrounded by
so
in LA,
many.
right?
Yep.
And that's where, like, I can get money. We can all get money. You want to get money, go start there's plenty of ways to get money.
Yeah.
But to really be happy, that's a whole different ballgame, right?
Beautiful, man.
And I'm in that transitional, which is perfect timing for this keynote and all these things I'm trying to do. But the more I meet people like yourself and these people that have helped me back home, it's like you can just see it. You can see the difference. You can follow their life and what they're doing, and that's where I think that's where the real magic is, in that sort of unexplainable whatever comes from it.
Man. I had a buddy who, he's a stand-up, and at one point his career just exploded. And I asked him, I was like, what was the point? Like, was there a moment you can look back on and there was a shift or a turning point, or like, and I'm thinking he's going to say, oh, I got this gig and then that just blew up.
Tonight Show.
Yeah. And he had done all that stuff. And he said, I was performing at the Comedy and Magic Club down at Hermosa Beach, and I walked outside and I just had this killer show. It was a really good night. And I walked out and I saw a homeless gentleman on the street. And in my mind, I thought, how could I make him laugh? Like, there's nothing I could do. Wow. In his situation. What could I do to get him to laugh? And he said in a second, his mind shifted. And he said, there's nothing I can do to get him to laugh, like to get a response from him. Mm-hmm. But he said, when I started thinking, what can I do to give him an opportunity to laugh? All of a sudden, like, this whole new world opened up, because it wasn't about this selfish ambition of like, I'm going in front of an audience to extract something from them. It was like, how can I give them an opportunity to experience something?
That's so great.
And dude, after that, like, this guy was just at a different level. And it was
know what's great about that too, which perfect example is the Castle.
Yeah.
You're killing it, right? You're like, yo, I am killing this show. But there's 3 people in the audience that are frowning and aren't happy.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, I'm going to go with these 3. I'm going to make them.
Yeah.
But that's not, the way you just said that is such a perfect example of, hey, my job is to give you the opportunity. I can't make you love me or laugh.
Yeah.
Your mom might have just died.
You
whatever
don't know.
It is.
You never know, man.
But I'll do my best to give you that. Here's the road. You can walk down it. It's up to you. I love that mentality, because then you can stand it there and look at him and go, doing my best for you, man.
Right.
The rest is up to you.
And then it's not coming from a place like I would struggle with. I do a show, and it's weird. You do one night and it kills, and the next night you feel like you're locked in, and it's just not the same response.
100%, yeah.
And it takes that weight off of going like, oh, that person was a jerk, or they're bad audience.
Why didn't you like me?
Yeah, and it just goes, wait a minute, it's about all of us. Like, we don't know where people are at. Like, every day I look at the news, and just looking at it, I'm depressed.
Yep.
Who knows what that person went through before they walked in here? But there's just something powerful about going, you know what? I am blessed with this moment where I can try to leave them, like we were talking about earlier. I can try to leave them in a different space, or give them an opportunity to escape, or give them an opportunity to question some things.
Absolutely.
And it's like, something about that, man. Like,
great example. I was performing in New Orleans to this guy, and he was really cool. His group was really cool, but this one dude was kind of standoffish.
Yeah.
Not over the top rude or drunk, belligerent heckler.
Just kind of reserved, or?
Yeah. And I'm like,
what's going on?
I'm going to win this guy.
Yeah.
I'm going to give him my A game. The schmooze is coming, everything. And I did everything, and he was it was like I was bothering him. So I pulled one of his friends aside, and I'm like, yo, what's the deal, man?
Yeah.
He was like, look, I hate to tell you this, but no magician is ever going to win him over.
Wow.
He was engaged, and she left him for a magician.
Oh, my God.
And I was like, okay. I could have spent a day with him, and no matter what I did, that's not my fault. That's not his fault, but I get it. Yeah. You've got a thing against magicians, and rightfully so. But I love that mentality of, I'm just going to give you the opportunity to have fun, because that's all I can do. The rest is up to you. I love that frame of thinking. That's great.
So wow, man, dude, this has been so encouraging to me.
Yeah, this has been awesome, man.
Thank you for taking the time
Absolutely.
to do this.
Thanks for having me. This
I
is
know
great, dude.
we got to wrap here because you got an audience waiting for you at the Magic
Go
Castle.
do my thing. Go give them the opportunity to have fun.
Love it, man. Where can people find you? How can they follow along and check out the journey and see what you got going on?
Sure. So obviously illusionist.com. I run that company as the GM. So keep your eyes peeled there if you're looking for magic. And then my personal site's just adamwilber.com. I'm on socials and whatnot. A book will be out soon. So anybody into creativity, the book's message is really just about creativity has the power to give you the best life possible. When we create something and we're dead and gone, that's what matters. That's what stays. And that doesn't have to be a physical product. That can be a conversation you have with your children, creating a memory for them. So that book will be out. I'm hoping. I'm just gonna say soon because every time I put a date to it, it'll be out soon.
But they can go to your website, and I'm sure that'll be there on the homepage when it comes out.
Yep, you got it.
That's so rad, man. If you're listening to the podcast right now, just click on the show notes, and you can get to all of Adam's stuff. Go follow him and check out the journey. But I'm so grateful, man.
Thanks so much, man. This has been a pleasure.